Yamato carried the largest naval guns ever put to sea. 18 1-inch monsters throwing 300-pound shells out to 26 miles. Each projectile stood taller than a man and was thicker than a telephone pole. A single detonation could gouge a crater 30 feet deep. And across 4 years of war, those awe-inspiring guns sank exactly one ship. A destroyer. Here's how the most powerful battleship in history ended up functionally useless. Start with the cold arithmetic. In 1940, Yamato cost 137 million yen, enough to produce roughly 1,000 fighter aircraft. Japan built 2 of them. That's 2,000 fighters not built. In the entire conflict, Yamato's main battery engaged enemy surface ships exactly once. During the Battle off Samar, she hurled 360 shells at escort carriers. Hits, 0. The only confirmed strikes were from her secondary batteries, which damaged a destroyer and a destroyer escort, not the main guns. Those 18-inch rifles hid a flaw most people never mention. They were too powerful. The blast overpressure was so extreme, it damaged Yamato herself. A full broadside could knock out radio gear, obliterate the ship's own float planes on deck, and deliver permanent hearing damage through steel bulkheads. Every time the main battery roared, the ship punished itself. On paper, range looked unbeatable. 42,000 yards, about 26 miles. In practice, the Earth got in the way. Beyond 30,000 yards, the horizon swallowed targets. Yamato couldn't see what she was theoretically able to hit. Japanese optics could track out to roughly 27,000 yards in perfect weather and calm seas. In real combat, smoke, rain, maneuvers, the effective range shrank to about 18,000 yards. Half the gun's theoretical reach might as well not have existed. Accuracy made it worse. At 20,000 yards, the hit probability was around 0. 2% per shell. Not 2%, 0.2. Statistically, you'd need about 500 rounds at long range to land one hit. Each barrel could manage 2 rounds per minute, with a full broadside requiring about 30 seconds to cycle. Under ideal circumstances, scoring a single hit could take 45 minutes of uninterrupted fire. An American destroyer captain who faced Yamato at Samar recalled the spectacle. Gigantic waterspouts, 200 feet high, stunning and terrifying, and consistently 300 yards off. Their fire control just couldn't keep pace with a target weaving at 25 knots. Then there was fuel. Yamato devoured about 300 tons of oil per day at cruising speed, at battle speed closer to 600. Her range at full speed was roughly 3,000 miles. By 1944, Japan's fuel crisis kept her tied to the pier. Guns that could, on paper, dominate the Pacific were rendered inert by logistics. Each main gun salvo consumed as much steel as a Zero fighter. 9 shells equaled 1 desperately needed airplane. Maybe the most damning figure. Yamato spent approximately 200 days in commission and saw real combat for only 10 of them, about 0.8% of her service life. The rest of the time she hid from submarines, hoarded fuel, or served as a fleet in being, valuable more as a threat than as a fighting ship. Air power completed the obsolescence. At first, Yamato's anti-air suite was laughable. 24 5-inch guns that couldn't effectively track dive bombers. By 1945, she bristled with 162 anti-aircraft guns. It didn't matter. On April 7, 1945, roughly 400 American aircraft swarmed her. In 2 hours, Yamato absorbed 11 torpedo hits and 6 bombs. The main guns even fired specialized airburst shells, 3 200-pound detonations in the sky, hoping to swat planes. They may have downed 3. The crew seemed to understand the farce. One survivor said they called her Hotel Yamato. Good food, air conditioning, and no battles. The great guns were ornaments, polished, maintained, fantasized about. When they finally thundered in earnest, the ship was already dying. Her last sortie, Operation Tango, was a declared suicide mission. Yamato was ordered to run herself aground at Okinawa and serve as a stationary coastal battery. She had fuel for a one-way trip. The plan finally promised steady firing platforms and pre-surveyed targets for those giant guns. Command knew she would never arrive. They sent her anyway. About 3,055 men died for a propaganda gesture. Now compare outcomes. USS Washington, with 16-inch guns, sank the battleship Kirishima in 8 minutes at knife-fight range. USS Massachusetts wrecked the French battleship Jean Bart with 16-inch fire. American battleships delivered shore bombardment for every major amphibious landing of the war. Yamato shelled land targets once, at Samar, and that was accidental while she was aiming at carriers. The math doesn't blink. 2 Yamato-class hulls cost about as much as 6 fleet carriers. Those carriers could have launched 1,000 aircraft. Instead, Japan built 2 ships, whose guns couldn't reliably hit moving targets, couldn't be kept fueled, and couldn't survive air attack. The final irony, Yamato was sunk by aircraft from 11 carriers. Each of those carriers cost less than Yamato's main battery. The torpedoes that finished her ran about $1,000 apiece. A single 18-inch shell, in modern terms, cost around $50,000. She was killed by weapons costing roughly 1/50th of her ammunition. Yamato's 18-inch guns were engineering marvels that thundered 360 times in anger and altered nothing. In the end, the mightiest battleship ever built proved that power without purpose is just very expensive noise on the way down.